It was Wood Boys, and then like the middle school shit was like PBM and stuff, Pretty Boy Mafia.
That I never knew. I mean, I would
Well,
hear.
it's because Pretty Boy Mafia ended up turning Wood Boys at some point, you know.
But what exactly was it? Because I would hear like, so people would joke around like, oh, so you're Wood Boy, you know, because
it's a party crew. It's a party crew.
It's a
well, I
party
mean,
crew.
let's just like you could call it whatever. It's a gang, right?
Okay.
It's a fucking gang, but you could call it like revelers. You could call it a motorcycle club. You could call it a party crew. I don't give a fuck. It's a gang, you know. It's you guys are organized. You guys are identifying by this thing.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a gang. It's a fucking gang.
Would they do like some type of act of violence or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
if you go to a Wood Boy party, there's gonna be a fucking fight, especially if an Eldo dude shows up. You know. Yeah, it got to that point. You know.
I never was that. What was that like? What years do you remember, more or less?
Before our time.
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense.
The Wood Boys died out kind of like when we were coming into high school. I knew about Wood Boys like in 8th grade. You know, because of the PBM stuff that was going on in our school, you know.
The PBM?
Yeah, because I guess these motherfuckers were hanging out with the Wood Boys. And so what they ended up doing, they created their own little PBM stuff. And they ended up turning Wood Boys once they went over to Longwood.
They're like party crews, but like kind of like there's like violence involved, like fights.
Yeah. There's egos and stuff like that, and there's like, oh, I'm beefing with that guy. Oh, well, let's go jump him, type of shit. You know.
Oh damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I never really knew about it. I would hear it, and I would just assume it was just like Wood Boy because you're a Monwood boy, you're a Monwood dude. And that's it. But I really never heard of that shit. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, but real quick, I'm actually pretty intrigued about what happened with the nail situation with David.
Yeah. So I told David about the nail situation, and I'm just talking out of my ass, you know. I'm like, yeah, bro, like, if I fucking see that motherfucker, like, anywhere, bro, it's on site, I'll hit him, you know.
You were all set. You got out of the class.
And to be honest, dude, like, at the time, like, what was it, 7th grade? At the time, the only fight I have ever had was with David Solis in crazy. 4th grade.
Oh, wow.
And it was only because we were practicing to fight against our bully. Yeah. So, like, we got caught training.
It's something from a movie or
something. We got caught training because we're like, we're not going to get bullied no more. We're going to train each other. And so the monitor caught us beating on each other, and they took us to the office. And it was so embarrassing to say, why were you guys hitting each other? Oh, because we don't want to get bullied no more. So we just stayed quiet. We got sent to the office. We got sent to SAG. We did our time, whatever, you know?
I've never heard of that story before. Has anyone told you that?
What?
Like, I've never heard someone got caught, like, fighting with someone that didn't mean to be fighting because they were trying to fight off the bully. Have you ever heard of that?
That's the first time, yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard that before. But that's fucking iconic, dude. Like, that's so out of a movie, bro. Like, what? That's hilarious.
That's true, dude. I've never heard that. But the point is that we were going to not allow this motherfucker to bully us, and we were going to take matters into our own hands. But regardless, that was my first fight. I don't know if you could call that a fight, but that was my first encounter with violence.
That's a good way to put it.
And so now I'm telling this guy 3 years later, hey, man, like, that motherfucker just fucking called me a faggot. Like, what did I do? And shit like that. Like, in my head, I'm like, I'm confused.
Yeah.
And boys will be boys, and I guess I got heated, and I told him, bro, I'll fucking sock him on site type of shit. So I'm taking a piss, and I finish, wash my hands, start shooting the shit in the fucking restroom, and then my boy David, he's like, hey, bro, check out who's coming in.
Was that fool?
That motherfucker. And now I see David's little, like, eager eyes, like, oh, what's going on, you know? Like, I heard you. Like it wasn't even, like, 5 minutes, because I told him after class, and then we went to the restroom. So it's like, it wasn't even 5 minutes that I told him that if I saw that motherfucker again, I'd punch him.
Did he hear you? That guy hurt you? Or no?
No. He just walked in, and he's like, hey, dude, like, check it out. Like, it's him. And then, so I'm like, what do I do? Like, my heart started racing, you know? Like, I still fucking remember it vividly how scared I was, you know? And I went up to him. I was like, so what, fool? You think I'm gay? Yeah, I think you're gay.
No way.
No hesitation whatsoever, dude. He's like, yeah, you're a faggot.
And what you end up doing?
Bro, I'm like, oh, all right. So I turned around. And it was like a matter of a split second, maybe two. should I not do it? Bro, I turned around and it wasn't even another moment of thinking. I just like, bang, fucking punched him in the mouth. Dude, he steps back 2 steps. He looks at me. His eyes start to water. And straight to the urinal. So
Shut
did
up.
he pee or did he cry? I don't know.
Shut up.
Yeah, dude. Like in front of his boys, I fucking socked him in the mouth.
Shut up.
He goes back 2 steps. He's like, huh? And he goes to take a piss. And I'm like,
Bro, I guess you can say all that training in 4th grade paid off.
yes. Yes.
You were preparing for that moment, bro, in 7th grade. Little did you know, bro.
And David was there to witness it all. I have to get that motherfucker on now that you're talking.
You really should, bro.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while, too. He's
Bro,
always been super cool, bro.
Dude, the things bro, the things that me and that motherfucker would do, like, it's crazy, dude. We would like you know those like shopping centers? We would like jump onto like the staircase in the back, because you know it's like you're not supposed to go on. Like,
Yeah.
we would go on the roof of shopping centers and we just smoke weed and drink and stuff like that.
What shopping center?
The one on, I believe, is George Dieter, Montana, the Super 7
Oh, shit.
by the McDonald's and all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. We would go to the back and we would get caught up smoking cigarettes and shit. And, hey, kids, get the fuck out of here. We're going to call the cops.
That's
You
crazy.
know, so we found that spot, you know. We would just go to the roof and start doing
They wouldn't
all
see
shit.
you in there anymore.
No.
Actually, I met him at I was taking an engineering program. I forgot what it's called, but it was like a 4-year.
Did you know Sergio, too?
Sergio.
Estrella?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like friends too now. I think.
The thing about Sergio is that he was able to manage to be considered everyone's best friend.
That's interesting.
That's amazing of
Yeah, it
him.
really
you
is,
know?
yeah.
He has a genuinely good heart, you know. He definitely was. Like it was the group, right? It was me, David, Sergio, and Israel. They were all my best friends, but Sergio was just like, he had a special place in my heart, you know.
That's cool, man. I don't know him that personally, but what I've experienced with him, I thought he seemed like a genuine guy,
Yeah.
like cool dude, warm, you know.
Exactly, yeah. That's what I loved about him, his warmness. You know?
He's cool. But yeah, David, I used to be really good friends with this other dude. He had barely came to El Paso from Juarez. Now I can't really think of his name, but he was like really good friends with him.
Okay.
Like he was always with him. Maybe you knew him, but I can't remember his name.
He had like curly hair.
Yes, that's him.
Victor.
Yes.
Victor.
Yes, Victor.
Bro,
Motherfucker's
I
funny as
got
fuck.
no, dude. I have a funny ass story, dude. Me and Victor were beefing a little bit, and I told Isaac, and Isaac caught up to him, and he told him, I don't know what he told him, but he was just like, hey, dude, I don't know what's going on between you and Jesse, but it's over. Bro, me and him like caught up to each other, me and Victor. We met up at the restroom just by whatever reason. And he's like, bro, I was just kidding. Why'd you tell Isaac?
Shit, bro. If Isaac went up to me, I'd be like, I'm sorry, dude. I'd be
Yes,
like, I'm
dude.
sorry, dude.
Yes, dude.
Shit.
Yeah. So when I talk about Isaac and the type of person he is, a lot of people are perplexed. They're like, why were you his friend to begin with? And I'm like, you don't understand the type of power that I wielded just by being his friend. You know, like nobody would fuck with me, you know? And
It's a plus,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah. He's a cool dude, bro. Honestly, like I saw him. I told you, I think I saw him at UPS, and he seemed really happy, man. He's really, really centered.
I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy.
Saw him pretty well.
The last time so I'm talking about my childhood friends, but these are my high school friends, you know,
Yeah.
like the people that like really, like Isaac taught me how to fight, and he really hardened me in a way that like you cannot understand. And if I tell you, you're probably not going to think he's cool, you know, simple as that, because he's not cool. He's not a good person. Well, at least he wasn't to me and to the people that I saw him interact with. I'm happy to hear that he's centered, and I'm happy to hear that like he's in a good place, but I wouldn't want to find out that by myself. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
I think we already deviated past, and we're going to keep it that way. But I do wish him the best, nonetheless. But the thing about him is that, man, like, it's just his aura. It's just his energy. You don't understand. Like, if you're his opponent, you don't want to be that. You don't
I
want
wouldn't. I wouldn't, bro.
No, you don't. That's like the moment he declares war to you, you're fucked. You're fucked, man. Like even in your own home, you're not safe anywhere.
You're unsafe anywhere.
I'm sorry to say that, you know? And
yeah, I believe it, though.
and so like I was cool with having dad backing me up, but then it was also hurting me.
Yeah,
you know?
course.
And I thought deep down because I also don't just see the bad, I see the good and etc. Right? But I'm thinking, well, maybe I can help him out to get out of ruts and stuff. But it was just the opposite. I ended up turning into him. You know, I ended up becoming a bully and becoming a very mean person and thinking that that's the way, you know. It took me a while to let go of those programmings as well.
It happens. It's crazy how life takes turns like that.
Yeah, like you're getting bullied and then you become the bully and then you hate you for being that. Yeah.
Because it started that way. You hated the bully in the first place,
yeah.
But then you became it.
And now you hate yourself. And now you have to learn to love yourself.
Yeah.
It's cyclical. It's evolutions. I think. Yeah.
Self growth. It's part of the growth development. You know. You have to.
What kind of transformation are you looking for in this year? Are you content with who you are as a person? Because that's fine. You know, like that to me. That's optimal. Yeah. Like when you're like happy with who you are as a person, that's where you want to be at.
That's a good question. I think there's always room for improvement.
Absolutely.
Definitely. I guess I want to just be better for myself. Think that like I'm not, because I mean sometimes you have those thoughts, you know, where you're like I shouldn't be thinking about like that way. I shouldn't be seeing things that way, and you kind of hate yourself for viewing in that way. You know. I think I want to be a little bit more. What's the word? Like happy, I guess, with whatever, you know, like just with if I say for example I see someone that I don't like the way they're doing things, I'm like, okay, well, be happy for them regardless, you know, because that kind of thing, like, or you start hating people for no reason, you're like, why doing that, you know? It's just kind of like hate that you don't need. So I guess more spiritual opinion. I do want to start meditating. I have a friend that got me. Do it. Yeah, dude. Like I have a friend that meditates a lot. He tells me the benefits of it. He feels really spiritual. He does like the crystals and stuff. He doesn't do crystal. He does the crystal. he has the crystals, you know.
Bro, you're a funny man. You know that, right? You got jokes, fucking guy. Are you guys hearing this guy? Bro,
he doesn't do crystals.
No, I know what you mean. I used to do the crystals too. I don't know if you saw the last post where like I'm like pulling out an engine. I'm just there.
Yeah,
bro. I'm like literally I have a chain and it's filled with like 7 crystals of like each hitting each chakra.
That's badass, dude. I saw that picture. I like for a little bit because I know you work with motors and stuff. You know a lot of mechanic, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I grew up with cars, welding, stuff like that, you know.
You have like a Garcia business, or does your dad have it, or what is that?
Dude, that situation is very complex to talk about, but essentially my sector of the family got usurped by the rest of the family. So now we have to fucking put in lawsuits and stuff to get control because my father got a stroke.
Oh, sorry.
And so instead of hitting the right side of the brain, which controls the movement, you know, a lot of stroke victims, you see them shriveled up like this, you know, they're like in wheelchairs and shit, but they're still mentally sharp, you know, their
motor skills.
Their motor skills, exactly. They're just completely dog shit. My dad, in comparison, was on the left side of the brain, which is memory, language. So when you look at him, he's a completely healthy man. But when you speak to him, he's a boy. An 8-year-old boy that doesn't even know common Spanish or English, and he cannot communicate himself. He acts like a little kid. He calls me his little brother, his big brother. Bro, when you get to that point, like, how the fuck are you not going to be hateful of like all the people who are getting on your way to help your father? And
of course.
It's like all these people, what they've done essentially is tell me that I'm inadequate to take care of my father all over the situation, and they don't want to take care of him. They don't want to help him, but they just want his money. They just want his control, like his assets, his shop, you know. So that's what we're kind of fighting for. We're kind of fighting to regain the control of my dad's stuff and get him back on the grind, you know.
Sorry to hear about that, man. That must be tough.
It's stressful more than anything. I understand now. For me, it's more saddening in the fact that, because I'm very happy that my dad's alive. I saw my dad when he was going through the stroke, literally, and I thought that guy was a dead man. His eyes were about to like pop out of his skull. All of his blood vessels were popping out also, and he was talking nothing but gibberish, you know. That's a story for another day, definitely, you know. But what makes me the most sad is that the family that I really, really crave, because I grew up with nobody, dude. Like, I grew up with just the people in my home, you know. Like, my mom and my sister were my family. Yeah, like, and then my mom married and remarried, rather, and I had my step family. But, like, dude, try to fucking go to the Thanksgiving events or the Christmas functions and try to feel like you're part of the family. Dude, you're going to feel like a fucking dumb fuck. Because you see, oh, hi, how are you? Yada, yada, yada. Oh, come give me a kiss. Oh, look at you. You're getting so big. And then when you walk in, you're like, oh.
What's up?
What's up? It's like, who invited this guy?
Yeah.
And it feels like that. You feel it, you know?
Bad, man. I've never had that experience, fortunately, but it must be tough, man. I mean, it's, especially now with a lot of broken families, I feel like we have that a lot.
It's interesting, definitely.
But I'm glad to hear that your dad's okay, you know, under the circumstances.
Well, you know, you're gonna fall. You're gonna. I'm gonna prophesy something to you. You're gonna become a very powerful man, but you're gonna fall, and it's your duty at that point to get back up. That I don't know. I don't know if you're gonna have the balls to get to a certain level in life, fall, and then get back up. That's the real test of a man, because as a 25-year-old man, tell me the fuck not that I cannot go get that Ferrari, that I cannot go become a champion of whatever the fuck I want to become champion of. But as a 60-year-old man,
Tough, yeah.
Because you have wisdom, of course, but you don't have the vigor, you don't have the energy, you don't have the strength. You have to implement different strategies now.
Correct.
So it's so exciting to me to be a man, to be honest with you, you know? Because of that, the constant fucking climb. Because the top of the mountain never fucking even existed. Whoever fucking came up with that ideology is skewed.
It's a fugazi.
Fugazi. Ándale. What is it from... don't tell me.
You got this.
The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It's just fairy dust.
Yeah!
That's what I'm talking about, bro.
Bro, I want to see... It's not that I want to see my friends only thrive. I want to see men thrive. I want to see women thrive, because that is the world we're living in, where we can all thrive. What I don't want to see is a man that feels so disenfranchised that he has to go do something terrible to our culture, to our civilization, you know? Like, the rest of the world, they're laughing at us because nobody can fuck with us other than us. We are decaying from the inside out, you know? Like, when the fuck has a immigrant or a terrorist other than 9/11 been able to actually like create some sort of scandalous terror other than mass shooters? The Vegas stuff too was crazy, you know? How this guy just fucking rented out a room, just fucking lit up a cigarette, started loading up his rifle, and just started bam, 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 bam.
Oh yeah, I kind of, I mean, didn't forget, but that was a while back, right?
Because there's so much of it.
Exactly.
There's so many fucking shootings every fucking week, and it makes me wonder. Okay, what is a better way to do this gun thing? Because no guns is not the way to go, and I'll tell you why. Because these criminals, they're not gonna not say, oh, we cannot get a gun. Okay, whatever.
So was the dark web, the
black market.
The black market. There you go.
Yeah. So
Just
like
buy it.
the bad people are always gonna be able to get their weapons.
They'll find ways to
Yeah.
do bad things.
What I want is the good people to also have some sort of way to defend themselves. But it's like, and then after that, what? Because that's kind of like the system we have, right? Bad people could get guns and good people could get guns. And then what do we do with this situation? Okay, training, education, what?
I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not an advocate for either or because there's always a middle ground, you know?
Sure.
But for example, I think at least the minimum we could do is not an interview, but a background check, you know? It's like, who are you giving it to? Like, does this person have a record? What kind of, like, history does he have? Like, you're looking at this person. I mean, we're not one to judge by, like, physical appearance, but when you see someone, it's just natural to us. You feel an aura. You see them, you're like, okay, not to be a dick, but you know, you see a guy tatted up, you know, and they're like, oh, that's a bad person, but that's not how it is. You just like you can generally find a guy that's tatted up and he's a good person. Most of the time,
Right.
they are. You can find this person like no tats, like regular looking guy. He's like the most evil person you've ever seen. Like he's the worst. But like you know, doing a background check, you can apply for it. You know, multiple like an actual system where like it's not as easy as going to buy it. I don't know, a phone, shoes, whatever. Like, you just buy it and that's it. Like, I think we should implement some type of rule. Some, like, what do you want a gun? Okay, you know, like, some type of interview or something. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with you. I think the process of buying a weapon should be more intensive and extensive both. But man, psychopaths are great actors also. Like there's always something that's going to impede with the overall logic of things because that's what psychopaths are. They go against the grain of things. Like you start to contemplate why would, and I'm talking about a real thing that also happened in a Walmart here in El Paso. Because I had barely moved from Denver over to El Paso when this happened. 2001. I was like 5 years old, 4 years old. Yeah, but what ended up happening was that some psychopathic dumb fuck, and I had more words to describe this guy, but he decided to kidnap a little girl. Did what he did, murdered her, and then burned her in a trash bin. A little girl, not like, and it doesn't matter who it was. It's just a little girl. And so, my mother had posed a question when I was in Keys Academy, because they make them go to these meetings and talk to these individuals, right? And my mom had a great question. She was like, "Okay, well, here's my question. If this man knew that there's cameras all over the Walmart and that there was absolutely no goddamn way of getting away with this crime / murder / whatever the fuck you want to call it, why did he do it then?" And the response was also equally great, which was psychopathy doesn't give a fuck about the end result. It just wants what it wants. It doesn't contemplate the other variables. It just knows that it needs to pounce on its prey. You know? Whether he gets caught or not, it doesn't matter. It was worth it. It was worth a try. And so, wow, when you look at it like that, you acting so logically and so moralistically every waking moment of your life is going to leave you open to psychopaths like that because they're not playing by the rules. Andrew Tate, like being on the top, Andrew Tate said this, you know, yeah, we're playing chess amongst each other. And I start fucking...
Him and who?
I think he was, I don't know who, but he did a plenty of interviews. And in one of them, he was essentially saying that, like, if you and I are playing chess, right? And I start cheating, I start fucking doing whatever the fuck I want. And you still decide to play by the rules? Like, why aren't you getting up and flipping the whole table upside down and saying, hey, chill the fuck out? You know? It's like, that's not the game anymore. You know, then we're not playing chess anymore. You know, we are obligated by law to play chess. But there's other people that are moving pieces in places that shouldn't be moved and doing things that shouldn't be done, murdering people that shouldn't be murdered, you know. And it's like, if we think those people don't exist, we're fucked. If we think we're in this nice safety net and this bubble of freedom called America, oh, dude, it's about to pop.
It's tough out here, man.
I'm scared, dude. I'm scared genuinely. I don't know if it's because of the 808s or all of this fucking craziness.
I think it's important to educate yourself, you know? More than anything, be educated, but not be arrogant, you know.
Sure.
And that's a lot of the problems. Like, people that are not educated are arrogant, and they'll be well, obviously they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
You know, they go hand in hand, but they're the ones that be doing the most. You know, it's
the most
crazy.
nonsense.
Yeah.
They're hypocrites also, you know. I want to talk to you about something because it seems that you have a good head on your shoulders. And this is the only thing that I have to say about women. And it's like, they want us to maintain this masculine frame, nonetheless. No woman's going to ever say, yeah, I want that fucking guy that doesn't want to fight. I want that guy that's scared of everyone. I want that guy that's broke. I want that guy that doesn't even have a car. You know? Like, no woman is ever going to say that. So I can say this confidently. Love from a woman is not unconditional. From a man it is. Because as a king, you can make a queen out of any peasant. A queen will never do that for the average Joe. You know what I mean? And so it's very interesting, the trajectories of success and the way we merge our lives with the opposite sex, right? But women seem to want that leader, that man, that stronghold, that pillar, but they don't want necessarily somebody to lead them, you know, somebody to tell them what to do, somebody to guide them. They want the man to be this, that, and the other, but they want to maintain full autonomy. Do you think that mentality is right?
Okay, so there's a couple factors to it. I don't agree with that 100% because there's always the exception, you know, because the same way they view us saying every man is the same, that's not true.
Yeah.
So then it works the same way. It's a little bit more rare, but I've seen instances where the woman sticks with the man like through the bad, like from the beginning where they have nothing, and then it's rare. It's rare, you know. It's not always the case. But I don't think that's the case. But I think it goes a little bit back to where you were saying, you know, how like women are now saying like, oh, I just want to be independent and have that type of mentality. It's good to a certain degree, but you also have to be independent. Like, if you want to be with someone, so you can work your way with them. But it's tough, man. It's really tough nowadays, because I want to say that not all women. Most women, they want, like you said, they want the guy to do everything, but they also want to be independent,
in charge,
and they're like, oh, I'm me because of me, but not you. Like, you know, it's
they don't want to compromise.
It's a good way to say it.
It's the zeitgeist, really, because the femininity of this country has become masculine, and the masculine culture of this country has become feminine. So, what am I saying here? I'm not saying that men are, well, in some cases they are turning into women, Kylie Jenner, but in most cases, men think that if they submit to women, because this is what it is.
No, yeah.
Men only do things if there's a chance, or in the horizon there is the possibility of procreating, aka getting laid, my guys. Yes, you guys are simping. Yes, you guys are fucking breaking your backs for a woman that will not suck your dick. She will not go to bed with you. And you know why? Because you're a simp and you're weak. But you think you have a chance because she gives you the googly eyes and she gives you these soft, warmed words, you know, while you're doing everything for her, you know. That's sad to me. That's sad, you know, because
when it comes to that, yes.
Yeah, because you have diminished your power so much so that you become a puppet. It doesn't matter if it's over the government or a woman or even me. I do not want my fellow man to be manipulated.
And that's a good point that you're bringing up. I think we're more susceptible to falling into that trap because of our needs. You get me? And they control us that way. They control us that way because they know that, a woman can get whoever wants, basically. Mostly, like 90%. So they control you that way.
Especially now. Like, imagine 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Like, where are these 7 adjustable sex events? Where are they at in the hierarchy? They're getting married. They're actually acknowledging a good man when he finds one and when she finds one, and it's like it's wholesome. But now everybody thinks they're a 10, and so I'm thinking you and I are on the same level. Like honestly, like it's happened to me where I'm like, I think you're a little bit ugly, but like I'm starving. I'm in need.
No,
I'm gonna hit you up. And you know what happens? I get rejected. I get fucking rejected. You know why? Because that bitch got fucking hit up by a millionaire on Twitter or on fucking Tinder. And he took her out to a 5-star, Michelin 5-star meal. And man, she had a great time. And now she thinks she's a 10. And she needs the 1% of men to indulge her in her whims, Not me.
It has a lot to... She's ugly. But
no, bro, because I used to think, okay, el que escoge no coge, neta. So it's like I'm in need, I'm starving, I'm not on a diet no more. You Gucci.
Starving.
And then she's like, oh well, you're actually not. And I'm like, excuse me? I literally had to like have a pep talk for 20 minutes in the restroom telling me...
You had to lower your standards?
I had to lower my standards. And like literally, it's going to be hard to raise them again. Why don't we just like, fuck?
That's crazy. It just depends, man. You'll see women that are interested in the money, and you'll see one, like, always be like, you know what? I don't have money. Okay. Don't worry, I'll go to you. You'll find those girls. You'll be like, you know what? I'm sorry, it's 'cause I can't take you out. Don't worry, I'll pay. Don't worry, and that's how you start to see. Like, and it's rare. But...
Well, that's why it's very important to be genuine, even with women. Because the consensus for men is to lie, is to to deify yourself.
Yeah, it's happened. I'm pretty sure. I mean, personally, it's happened to me before, where I wait till I have money and be like, let me take you out. So I want to pay for it.
Right.
I want to pay for it. And it's it just goes, this is a little bit different though, because if you do it out of the, like, what would you call it? Like the chivalry of you, like you want to be a gentleman. If you want to do it because of that, then that's cool. But it depends if it's like a fine line between chivalry, like trying to be a gentleman, and your ego of being like, oh no, women shouldn't pay for me. Like that makes me less of a man. Well, going back to what you were saying,
because we're confused. We don't know our identity. Either you're gonna pay for the goddamn meal, or you're gonna make her pay for the goddamn meal.
Yeah.
Like don't be fucking perplexed. I started watching all of these. Funny enough, right? I started watching all of these like women talk about like, oh yeah, on the first date I do offer to pay, but like in reality I don't, and it makes me sick when they accept my offer to pay for the meal.
That's ridiculous.
And guess what? There will not be a second date. Then why the fuck do you offer?
That's bullshit, bro.
Yeah, it's like women want honesty and directness from us, right?
Yeah.
But when they communicate to us, oh, well, you should have known. Oh, well, it's obvious. Who would? Oh, are you stupid? And it's like, yeah, I am, because you're talking in code.
It's like, how can you guess that when I clearly meant no?
Exactly, dude. Exactly. And so, like, it happened to me, to be honest with you. I let a woman pay for the meal. She pulled out her card, and then she went like that. And then I stopped her. I was like, hey, no, I'm going to pay for it. And she forced the envelope, right? Bro, I was like, all right, whatever. Pay for it. There was no second. There was no second date.
That's crazy. You know what I love seeing on Facebook? I don't know if you've ever seen there's a prank where this guy's like, hey, you want to go out? Like you want to go out on a date, or like he'll go to LA, he'll see like a bad bitch, like, oh, dressed up in heels, walking.
Yeah.
Like, where you going? He's like, I'm going to my... Like, they'll ignore him, you know? It's like, hey, you want to go out on a date? And then they'll keep walking, you know? They'll ignore him. I'll be like, all right, bet. He walks to... There's a Lamborghini right there, but he's not near it. He's, like, behind where there's, like, a Nissan or some shit,
Yeah.
you know? And then he walks, like, towards the car, and then they're like, whoa, 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 where are you going? Like, oh, you said you didn't want to go. And he's like, is this your car? Yeah. It's like, oh, wow, I didn't know this was your car. Like, you know, and we're like, and then she gets out, she gets in the car. It's like, oh, you want to go with me? He's like, yeah. And then at the end, the guy, like, tells him, like, no, so you're interested, right? Like, you're interested in the money. You're the gold digger. They're like, no, I'm not a gold digger. It's like, well, I mean, you said no, you were ignoring me. And then as soon as you saw that I got into this badass car, like, all of a sudden, like, you want to go out with me? It's like, oh, no, it's just that I'm accustomed to, like, the luxurious life. And, like, this is the type of, like, you know, I'm not going to get into a Nissan.
Yeah, this is the type of vehicle that I'm accustomed to. It's nothing against you.
Yeah, and they're like, no, it's just that. That's just, you know, I'm accustomed to
Well,
that.
that's the thing, too. Like, I think gold diggers would be a lot more fun if they didn't lie about the fact that they weren't gold diggers, you know? Or if they were woke enough to know that they are succubuses. They're demons sucking the life force out of the very successful man that they're sleeping with, you know? Like, I think if I saw a woman, I'm like, you're a gold digger? Yeah, fuck yeah. What of it? Hop in
At
my
least
car,
be straight
bitch.
up, yeah, at
hop
least-
in my car. Let me spend some money on you, you know?
At least, bro, you know, at least you know, like, you know what you're buying. You
Well,
know?
let me ask you a question, though. Because you definitely have an analytical mind. And I was thinking about this as you were talking, which is, do we want the fast car because the woman's going to want to get on top of it, or because we like to go fast?
That's a good question.
Because I've been contemplating the fact that, like, everything's connected, right? Yeah.
Go ahead, bro. My bad.
Everything's connected. So if a woman is more interested in me because I'm in my masculine essence, meaning I'm driving my fast cars,
Yeah.
I'm training my MMA,
Yeah.
I'm making my money, I'm protector, provider, server of my community. I'm in my masculine essence. So that's why I'm desired by women,
Correct.
right? But is it a masculine essence because it makes me more masculine, going fast and etc., fighting, or because women like that stuff?
That's a good question. I guess it depends which girl you're directing that question.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it was a gold digger, I mean, shit, the car is nice, you know. You're going to be seeing a Lamborghini for sure. But
I guess what I mean is, like, as a man, though,
As a
like,
man?
to you, like, what do you think it is? Like, do you think we
Oh.
want the fast car because we like to go fast, or because we just want a bitch next to us? And I'm drunk, sorry guys. A woman next to us. Because we're talking about gold diggers, and I
Yeah.
think gold diggers should be called bitches.
Yeah.
You know, they call themselves bitches. I remember I was dating one of my exes. I'm not gonna say names. She knows who she is. Hey, fucking bitch.
if you're watching,
No.
exposed.
Like, I was very respectful for her, and I was like, excuse me, and like, she's like, what do you mean, excuse me? Just tell the bitch to move. And I was like, okay.
No,
Excuse me?
don't be fooled though.
Yeah.
They can call themselves bitches, but if you call them a bitch, you're fucked.
Dude.
She's calling herself a bitch. She's like, you can tell a bitch as in me calling myself a
My
bitch.
guy, I had a woman guest on the show.
Yeah.
She's a model, and well, she gave me a little bit of homework, right? She said some things that I want to go on air, and she wanted to look good on the podcast, and I understand that, right? So I made an effort, right? But as I edited that bitch, that fucking podcast heavy, dude, and I called her a bitch like 3 times, dude. But like, because she called herself a bitch.
Yeah.
She said, "Oh yeah, my sister thinks I'm a bitch or a bad bitch." I don't remember, but I kept referencing the fact that she called herself, or that her sister calls herself. I don't know what the fuck, but yeah, there was like at least 3 times that I called her a bitch, and I think that didn't help the situation, you know?
No, bro. It's okay if a friend calls her a bad bitch. You're like, oh, you're a bad bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, tell a bitch to move as in, I'm a bitch, but you can't call me a bitch, you know?
Right.
No.
Okay, so like remove the word bitch from my vocabulary in terms of like communicating.
If you're being
with-
direct with a woman, I think so.
Okay.
It's I don't know. I mean, some girls like to be called bitches. I don't know.
I had a podcast also, and we spoke about how women like to be treated as such, and
They like to be called sluts.
they
I mean, shit.
they ask you to do things to them that goes against the word of God. Dude, sometimes I'm literally like I'm no longer hungry. I'm having a buffet and I'm getting laid, and the woman tells me to spit on her face. I'm like, huh? My mama raised no fucking.
Degenerate.
Exactly, dude. It's like, oh, I'm gonna have to get used to this one.
That's crazy, dude. I want to touch back on that question you were asking me about, because it's an interesting topic that you were saying. Two guys like to have that car, the fast car, because that's what we're meant to be. We're meant to go fast. We're always crazy. We're like,
Battle.
testosterone. In a way, sometimes I think we all do it. We're like, I want to look more masculine, but it just depends who you ask. I mean, personally, I don't think I wouldn't think so. Like, I wouldn't get a car just because it's like all goes fast and it's gonna like a girl. Like, I'd rather spend the money that I like on what I want. If it's efficient, if it's how is this gonna lay within my finances, and like, is it? Because I mean, yeah, it's cool to buy a nice car.
Well, I mean, think about it like this: you have $300 million in the dollars. You're no longer making these questions whether if it's efficient or liable for your economic situation. You could spend your money on whatever you want. At that point, what?
I think you can invest your money on something more
Wholesome.
Yeah, like
so. The camera's watching you, bro.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Like, I'm telling you, you're gonna be successful, bro.
I appreciate
and you're
it, bro.
limiting yourself to like a couple cars now. I was like envisioning this motherfucker going to your garage in the next 10 to 20 and being like, "Oh, do you have 30 cars?" And it's like now I'm envisioning you going to your garage like, "Oh, do you have 5 Priuses?"
Lol. No, I mean, no, but I would just if it was me, I'd probably spend my money on something else that like. Because people want to like just right away spend it, and then I would just rather invest it.
No, and that's a great point, which is why I change it up a bit where you already have the money. You already have your investments. You already made your money.
Okay.
Like absolutely. Like I'm gonna touch base on that. Like I don't know. It was a rapper, and he was saying that like as soon as he made some money, the first thing he did, buy a Rolls Royce, roll it around his whole hood, show off. And he's like, bro, that 200,000 bills that I could spend on the rolls, I could have fucking spent it or invested it rather in assets, in real estate, in bonds, and fucking stocks. And I don't know, dude, like everybody's so illiterate. Everybody is such a consumer right now. And like, let me tell you something, bro. The secret of life is to create more than you consume. If you're consuming more than you're creating, which is Netflix, the Hulus, that all counts as consuming. You're fucked.
So it comes down to living in the social media life. We want to show off, like, as soon as you get like, oh, look at this, I bought this like $200 watch, like,
Dude, yeah, like as soon as I got this watch, I was like, it's a new me. It's my new personality. It's like, bro, shut the fuck up. Nobody gives a fuck about your watch.
If you work towards it, and you're like, oh, I'm like, I want to treat myself, and like, I'm a watch enthusiast, or I never bought myself a nice watch, it's cool, but I feel like a lot of people want to buy luxurious shit to show it off,
Well, think about it like this: the people who are really wealthy, they don't dress necessarily like, the people who promote the designer shit.
Yeah,
they're not wearing the big Gucci prints or the big LV stuff. Yeah. They're literally wearing a suit and tie.
Or like a plain black shirt or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you would never know that they're rich until you literally log into their bank
yeah.
accounts, and good luck doing that. You know.
Oh yeah.
That's the whole point. Like, I'm gonna tell you something very, very controversial, and nobody will ever say this. But why do you think the sheiks from Abu Dhabi, from Dubai, from all those Arabic countries, why do you think they dress the way they dress? So humble. They dress less than you and I. I'm wearing Ralph Lauren, goddammit. I look like I have more money. But then you look at their wrist compared to my wrist.
Or the palaces that they own.
They're a royal family. They're in the trillionaire realm. The reason we don't know how much money they have is because they don't run a company. They run a family. You're right. It's a royal fucking family. So they're not entitled to tell Forbes how much they made in 1 year. They're trillionaires, my guy. You know? They're wearing the most expensive Pateks, Rolexes in their wrist, and that's the only way you know that they're sheiks, that they're borderline royalty here on earth. This monarchy system is still in place. It's just a little bit more subtle. Why? Because it has to be. It has to be more hush hush, you know? Because these sheiks are not wearing these heavy crowns. They're not wearing these fancy silk clothing or suits. They're wearing basically what Jesus was wearing. So you will never know. You will never assume that they're in control of everything.
That's, I think, that's one of the things that we should kind of. It's just, man, I'm really controversial when it comes to social media. I mean, it just depends. It's a weapon, I think, depending how you use it. Don't you think?
Absolutely.
Like, you can become more educated or you can become more arrogant depending on what kind of what kind of things you follow. Like, you know,
what the algorithm is putting in your face.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's actually, I have a friend that told me, he's like, I'm trying to do like because he tries to stay away from, because I was away from social media for a while too, and I really enjoyed it. I feel like I was more time efficient.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. You really aren't that much on social media, if I'm being honest with you. I'm on social media all the time, so I know what it is to be like ingrained in this shit. You know, it's shit, dude. Like, I have these moments in my day where I'm like, my mind is a monkey mind. I have no control over it. I have no idea what the fuck I'm thinking, what's going in and out of my mind. It's only when I meditate, which is why I 100% like I agree with it. It's only when I meditate that everything else dissipates, you know. But you're not addicted to none of that stuff.
No, of course. I wasn't saying that, but I feel like I was going back to the social media type of thing where, like, a friend told me that it's good to do a cleanse, like not a cleanse, but it's kind of like you know how you were saying that you get like an algorithm. So you're able to change the algorithm if you change where you look up. So like if you look up, let's say, some scientific stuff or positive habits to do in the morning, or how to change your routine. That's kind of like a cleanse in itself. You're kind of doing, like, you're changing the algorithm as opposed to seeing cars or seeing like celebrities or seeing like bad bitches, and you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, David, why do you think a lot of people have locks on their phones? Because if I see your algorithm, I see who you really are.
That's a good...
Like that. Like, that's the only thing the algorithm has done, you know, which isn't even valuable at all because of the screen locks. You know, if I could grab your phone and see what your algorithm looks like, then I know you as a person who you really are, not who you're trying to portray here on the camera.
Correct.
You know, if somebody grabs my phone, they're gonna see that I'm a degenerate. You know,
aren't we all?
Exactly. So it's like they're gonna fucking realize that this podcast is nothing but bullshit, and that the algorithm really fucking found me out. You know, but that's the reason we have these screen locks. You know, because I don't want you to see my algorithm. I don't want you to see how fucking deep this shit goes. You know. Because the algorithm isn't evil. The algorithm isn't good or bad. Of course, it funnels things. It filters things, you know? Like, if I'm pro this or pro that or anti this or anti that.
That's what's going to feed you.
Exactly. But But if you're just looking at girls in bikinis, that's all you're gonna see on Instagram.
That's true.
Yeah, and it's very sad. It's very sad that like people who maybe were a little bit lonely at the time, they just like started like looking up some shit. Oh, look at her. I'm gonna like this picture.
Yeah.
I'm gonna save this one. But next thing you know, all of their content is that. My content is a lot of everything. Cars, watches, conspiracy shit. Joe Biden eating shit on the podium.
Yeah, and what I was getting into, I don't know if it might have sounded random why I was bringing up social media, but it's because it goes back to what you were talking about, royalty families and like how they make money, but they're more seclusive. They're like not showing it off. So what I was trying to get at is that in social media, I feel like we're so eager, we're like so like desperate to show people how good we're doing. We're just like, look, I just bought me these shoes, or like I'm here, like I don't know, this fancy hotel, And I think that goes back to that. That's what I was trying to get at. Don't you think?
You're making some great points, man. Can you come back tomorrow?
I'm gonna have to bring another bottle though. We're already halfway through.
Dude, you can drink. I know I can drink, but you can drink.
Thanks, bro. I really enjoy whiskey. Like I said, with good conversation, even better, bro.
Bro, that's what I'm talking about. Like this is manhood, Like sometimes I think what true masculinity is being with the boy and crying in front of him.
Yeah, just being able to be yourself, like
being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because men don't have that luxury in the face of the world, in the face of the female human. We have to always be this pillar. I'm telling you this because it's a matter of fact. Yeah. This is not a theory that I concocted. This is not something that Andrew Tate said. This is a fact. If you show weakness to the female human, she's going to be repulsed and disgusted by you, and she's not going to want to see you no more. Simple as that. The only people that should see a man in his lowest is another man. You know what I mean?
I mean, it just doesn't, what was I going to say? It just depends. I mean, I've personally I've never felt weak in that sense. Like if they see my true side or like they see my weaknesses, it just depends on the person, I'd rather be the person that I am without having to like think about like, oh, if I cry or if I tell them I truly feel like that. But it just varies. But under the whole scope of like men in general, that is true. Like what you're saying, like women do think that we have to be strong and we can't cry and we can't like do this and we can't do that.
But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that like a lot of times women invite us to be vulnerable. Women want us to show them our weak side, because that's what it is. It's weakness, and it's not a bad thing either, because you're not indestructible, you're not invincible, and you are definitely entitled to have a weak moment, But what you're not allowed to do is to show your woman that there was an opportunity to be weak, because that's going to show her that if there's a rainy day, then it might be the day where you fold also.
They want that security. They want
they want to know that you're human also, but they cannot have both. Either you have security or you have a genuine person. Which one you want? Because you can have both. Because if you have a genuine person, you're going to know that he's insecure, that he's scared, and that he's in danger. And that perhaps you are in danger too. But if you have this pillar, you're not going to know shit. You're just going to know that you're safe. Wow. Like now I have to make a choice as a man. Like, do I want to appease the woman and be a person of vulnerability? Or do I want to appease the woman and the world? It's like, what the fuck are we doing? We're just trying to make somebody else smile. I
think that's the duality of men. I think that's something that, especially like, for example, I'm a man brought up by a woman. So that makes a lot of sense.
What do you mean by that?
I grew up without a dad. So
Really?
I grew up with just my mom. So I
What happened to your dad?
He's just not in the picture.
At all?
No. Once I was born,
At all?
they were already divorced. Yeah.
Bro, that's so crazy to me because I grew up without a dad, but it's not like I didn't have a dad. You could call me every fucking day.
Yeah.
Tell me how you doing. Yada yada. Don't do this. Don't do that. The fact that he wasn't there did hurt me. Did hurt me.
Like
and
physically.
Yeah. It probably might as well been the same as like your dad checking out.
Yeah.
But that's what makes me a little bit concerned about my way of thinking, because it's like, man, there are people who have their fathers literally saying, fuck you, I'm outies. And look how you turned out, bro. Like, I'm going to tell you something, bro. I would never, ever, ever compare myself to you.
Yeah, no.
But it's a compliment to you, dude. Because you're a great man.
Appreciate it, bro.
You're a really great man, and I can only aspire to be a percent of what you are. You know what I mean?
Really flattered, man. Really appreciate it.
But don't be, because that's the way every single man should be. Every man should aspire to be honorable. And me, on the other hand, I used every opportunity as an excuse to be a bad person. You know what I mean? Oh, my father wasn't at the soccer game. I'm going to do drugs. Oh, my father didn't teach me this. I'm going to punch a wall. You know? I know you've made mistakes. I don't know what mistakes you've made. I don't know you like that, but I know you made mistakes, and I know you're not perfect. But I also know, deep down in my heart, that you're a great man. You're a good man. You know?
Thank you, brother. That means a lot, man. And also, man, and it's not like to get back at you, like be like, oh, thanks for the compliment. I'm gonna tell you back. But I like you really like the way you express yourself, and that's really good, man. And I feel like you're grateful as well. You seem like you've grown to be like a badass dude, man. For real. Like you have a good head over your shoulders, like you say, and I'm really glad you invited me, man. Having badass of a conversation with you. It's awesome, man. It's been so long, and it feels like it was just yesterday.
Bro, but like, you wouldn't be on my show if you weren't what I'm preaching you to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I have a lot of friends. From past, present, and maybe even future, right? But a lot of them are not going to get on the show because they're scumbags. They cheat on their women. They cheat on their friends. And they're only out for themselves. You know, I only want people like you. I only want people like the people that have been featured here. You know, like people who only care about what's best for others, not for just themselves. You know, because I understand that what's best for you is also best for me. You know, but it doesn't work the other way around. Sometimes what's best for me, it's really bad for you.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Or vice versa, when like sometimes the same way, like that's how you divert from friends, you know, friendships. They might be doing good for them, but it's not good for you.
Yeah, well, that's selfishness and it's entirety. But how are we doing on time? Are we out of time?
Is that a weekend reference?
No, it's not. It's a legit question. That was a weekend question.
I do have to go, but I was going to tell you something I forgot completely.
Tell me.
Just that happens. I don't know if you knew about this, but you know the bar Later?
Later, yes.
Every year they have a tribute to The Weeknd.
Really?
Where they play pure The Weeknd music. And they have drinks named by the title of the songs by The Weeknd.
You could have an after hour or a heartless shot.
Yeah. And that happens to be tonight. So
what?
So I was wondering if you wanted to.
Bro, check it out.
Heartless. It's badass, bro. So I was going to tell you.
When I heard the song, I was like, bro, this is my song.
Fuck yeah.
This
That's
is
a
my
bad song.
That's a song.
Wasn't that was the, no, Blinding Lights.
No, it was Blinding Lights and then Heartless.
And then Heartless, yeah.
Yeah. But, and I was deciding which one's my song. Because I love both of them, really. You know. But Heartless, Heartless is talking about a painful situation where you're just like, you tried your best to be your best, but you realize that you're nothing but a piece of shit. And you're okay with it.
Yeah, yes, and coming to terms with it. Bro, just being self-aware and like not denying like what you know, or being kind of like oblivious to like what you already know. That speaks a lot. Like if you know you're a douchebag and you're like denying, it's kind of like, damn, it's like douchebag times two. I mean, being a douchebag and acknowledging it doesn't make it any better, but at least you're self-aware and you're like, I'm a douchebag, you know, and you don't.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's like, oh, I'm a douche, like don't fuck with me because I'm gonna fuck you over.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool, but I mean, not really, but yeah.
Well, that's the thing about like the Andrew Tate messages and The Weeknd and every other person that's so prolific and polarizing. Trump. It's like, and dude, you're saying some legit shit, but like, it's like it's like nobody's gonna agree with this.
Yeah, as long as you, I guess honesty, bro. You know, you're being honest, like you were saying. But so just going back to what I was gonna say, like, I don't know if I told you that I had something to do right now, but
Yeah, the birthday.
yeah. So I'm gonna shout out my friend Miguel if he's watching, if he watches this.
Happy
later.
birthday.
Thank you, brother. Happy birthday. I'm gonna pull up to him, say happy birthday. I'm a little cake with my friends, and we're probably gonna pull up to later. You're down or what?
Message me, brother.
For real?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, I've gone for, I think this might be my third consecutive year.
Okay, we're gonna dance all night. I'm
Dude,
just gonna tell you.
Fuck yeah, dude! It's always before Valentine's. Always, it's always in February. It's like a couple of days prior. And guess what? It's every Thursday. Like today, it's Thursday.
There's a definite reason for all of this shit.
Bro, that's crazy, dude. I don't know if you noticed, but he always releases his music videos on Thursday, like 99% of the time.
Really?
Yeah. Look at it. Next time he releases a new video, it's gonna be on Thursday.
Is there someone else? Did you see the video?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because he's wearing the mask in that video. That's the first time he features it in How Do I Make You Love You, but in the cartoon version.
Yes, that's a tripped out video, huh? That's fucking weird. It's like a tripped out video, bro.
Because it shows the afterlife character getting inflated and then it blows up into, what is it, butterflies or bugs?
Butterflies. He does butterflies and then like he's just kind of cheat. So what happens is that his like new self is catching up to his old self, or vice versa. I don't know, but he's kind of like chasing him because like his regrets and his guilt is like catching up to him. You know?
This is what I got from the video.
Yeah.
He's getting in touch with his inner child. Because that's the full circle that I keep hearing from even old people, where they're like, yeah, dude, like you're a kid and then you're eager to be an adult and then you're an adult and then you get bitter from being an adult.
And you wish you were a kid.
Yeah, and it's like that's basically the snake eating itself, right? The memento mori.
The don't throw it on me, snake. It has a lot of meanings. I know which one. Yeah,
a lot of esoteric meanings, but it's basically like, remember, you're gonna fucking die, dude. You know, and it's like everything comes full circle.
It does, yeah. I haven't seen. I mean, we're all free to interpret the way. I mean, that's a good analogy, you know.
Yeah,
it's a good way to dissect the video and kind of put it into good terms. But I personally don't know because I guess I was just caught up on like seeing how he was gonna take that video, and then at the end, I think he ends up like he falls off a fucking like a building, and then falls, and then he like squishes, and then he just kind of rebuilt himself, and then he gets ran over, and he's like terrorizing this girl in the car. I think I don't.
Well, that's when he blows up into a
big balloon.
Yeah,
right?
a big balloon of like the afterlife's character.
Yeah, he's wearing red, right?
Yeah, he's wearing that. He's wearing that attire, and then he blows up, turns into butterflies. But it's like if you look at it, when he's chasing the woman, he's slowly becoming more youthful. Like, yeah, the more damage he takes, he becomes older.
Do you see when he breaks up?
Exactly. When he breaks down,
he ends up a kid, right? That's crazy. You saw the Quincy Jones story? What
do you think about that?
That's hard, man.
It's sad.
It really is, man. So, from what I've gathered, I don't know Quincy Jones that well. He used to be like I know that he produced for Michael Jackson.
Thriller.
Yeah, he did.
All the way up to Bad, I think. I think Bad either was the last one or he didn't produce that one.
I knew that that's all I know from him. But
there's no Michael Jackson without Quincy Jones. Let's just put it like that.
That's crazy. Most people don't know. I didn't know until now.
They don't know that.
And I saw a breakdown of that. And Quincy Jones, ultimately what he says is that his mom in that song, I mean, he narrates it. Mm-hmm. He says a word by word that his mom got taken away at a young age. He was really young. I don't recall how old he was, but on a straitjacket, you know, the people that are crazy and they take him into psych wards? Or
sure.
Yeah. She was diagnosed with like dementia, I think. And
precox.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but it's ultimately known now. I mean, back then it was known differently. That was like what, in like 70s, 80s? I'm not sure. But it's ultimately like some type of schizophrenia, now known as schizophrenia.
You know, a lot of those individuals, they would get terrorized really badly. They would get like electrocuted.
Back in the days, yeah.
They would get sexually assaulted. Like, it was crazy the amount of trauma that like these mentally ill people were going through.
I heard some crazy shit about like, well, I think I don't know where, but I've seen like videos or something where back then they used to think that was some witchcraft. Like back then when people didn't understand mental disorders or mental illnesses, they act all weird, you know, like you're acting normal and then you don't know where you have like a different voice and you have a different personality. But damn, that's like witchcraft. Like they would put some type of crowns. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's like I guess it's like a not a crown, but it goes in your head, it goes around, and it's kind of like a
veil.
Not a veil. It would be like you could stick needles through the nails through the side. Like it's kind of like a. Have you seen 13 Ghosts, the movie?
No, I haven't.
No way.
No.
Oh, what the fuck? Well, there's a ghost that has like I don't know how to call it. It's like some type of I don't know how to describe it. I'm like going completely blank, but you can see through it. It's like some type of barrel right here, like you know. And then they would put nails around the head because they thought it was witchcraft. So like if they would
they thought they were piercing through the ghost or demon.
Yeah, and then they would just do it around their head and then just.
Well, I mean, the Salem's witch trials are a perfect example of how delusional we are, and like how I could claim that Maria Felix is a witch, but she was just a fucking human being trying to be scandalous, right? But like we literally burned women at a stake just because they weren't getting ill or just because they were speaking a little bit more eloquently than the other women, you know? Or your crops weren't growing, so you're blaming it on the bitch over there across the street. Yeah. It's crazy, man. The ignorance of our culture has brought a lot of death.
Oh yeah.
To our own people.
Instead of studying like, oh, what is the cause of this? Or like, nah. Just kill him, or I don't know.
I also, just to finish off the podcast, you know, because it's man, this is fire. But
yeah, me too. But I'm like, I'm having such a good time,
dude. I read the Bible once and I just opened at a random page, and I started reading, and God is pissed, upset as fuck, dude, jealous. He's jealous because his wife Jerusalem cheated on him. He's like, Jerusalem, I that found you weeping in a pool of your own blood and shit. I cleansed you. I bathed you. I clothed you. I adorned you with jewels and jewelry and gold. All because I loved you. You were my woman. He's talking about Jerusalem, the city, right?
It's crazy.
You were my wife. But you are nothing but a fucking whore. No, I digress. Less than a whore. Why? Because a whore at least gets something in return.
That's crazy. Which version of it are you reading? Because they have different ones, right?
Yeah, they have a lot of them, dude. I have like 3 different versions of the Bible. But one of the one that I'm reading, he essentially says to like, it's like, dude, like I lifted you up. How dare you? How dare you give the gifts that I gave to you for free? You know? Like, I gave to you because I loved you, you know? But here comes evil Babylon, evil Egypt, and you give yourself to them for free. You don't even get nothing in return. That's why you're less than a whore. You know? You're just giving. You don't get nothing. At least a prostitute gets money in the end.
That's a crazy analogy, bro.
I ponder that a lot. I'm like, why is God so upset at this particular city? Why is God so upset? And why is God... Why doesn't he seem like a God anymore? Like, when I read this passage, I saw myself in him. To be honest with you. You know? I saw the pain of giving so much of yourself to a woman who doesn't appreciate it. You know? But I still, like, I can relate to God in that sense. But it's like, I still don't understand why God felt that way.
Yeah. That's interesting, man. I've never myself read the Bible. I've heard about a lot about it. Especially Eli. He tells me a lot. He tells me, like, he's read the Bible a bunch of times. He tells me to read it. And I would love to read it, not for the reason that people want me to read it, for my own sake. Just kind of like seek knowledge and see what I mean. It's just, you can always get something good, or, you know, and take it with the bad, you know?
Bro, I can offer you the Quran. I can offer you Marcus Aurelius meditations. I can offer you whatever the fuck. There's so many literature. There's so much information out there that I can offer to you that the Bible essentially becomes obsolete, you know. But the Bible has everything. That's the thing about the Bible.
I'm really intrigued by the 48 laws of what?
Laws of power.
Of power. It's just interesting.
Okay, read that one. But also read the Laws of Seduction. I think you're good in that department. But read the Laws of the Art of Seduction.
Hey, bro, the looks are deceiving, bro. I'm still trying to figure it out myself.
I think you got it in the bag.
Does everybody think that, right?
Okay, if everybody thinks that, I'm sure women think that too, right?
I don't know, bro. I don't know, but I do have to go, bro. But this was such an honor. I had a lot of time. Dude, time flew by, bro. I can't believe it was 3 hours.
You just got here. Dude,
3 hours, bro. I hadn't checked my time, and then I kept feeling my watch vibrating. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, what the fuck, 9? That shit flew, and it was awesome, man. I'm really looking forward to, you know, of course, if you invite me over again.
It's an open invitation, David. Like, whenever the fuck you want. Hey, I have something scandalous to say. Come on over. It's 3 a.m. I don't give a fuck, dude. Come on over. Like that, dude.
Dude, I'm fucking down, bro. Dude, really appreciate it. And for sure, if you're down, I'll let you know about the weekend tribute.
Text me.
It's awesome, bro. Awesome.
I'm actually down.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. Yeah, it's later, but
later, fuckers.
Later.
This was another episode of the Warrior Poet Show. This was your guest, DavidORTA.
Pleasure. Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Warrior Poet out.
Hey, this is awesome, bro.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I really enjoyed myself, man.
Isn't it crazy? It's like a time machine, dude.
Dude, yes.
Here with the warrior poet, spitting out the facts, artillery loaded, perfecting our craft, yeah you know we devoted. I know what I want, so I'm staying focused. You hitting up my line, it's on do not disturb. Don't need a fool who can't even back up his words. Had to burn bridges and take different roads. You might think I'm toxic, but homie, I got goals.